Hey everyone, it's Jessie G here. Welcome back to Jessie's Hangout. This is episode number 7. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Jessie. This is an open podcast series. I talk about all sorts of topics, so I hope you will enjoy the content that I put on, and I hope you get a lot out of it. I hope you get a lot of education out of it as well. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read off a couple of things before we start today's episode. So let's kind of get into that. Oh, and I also hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe through everything as well. So with that said, let's get into it. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as comment, criticism, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be interfering. Non-profit or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Age restriction warning. This episode is for mature audience only. Viewer discretion is advised. If you are under the age of 18, this episode may not be suitable for you to watch. Highly recommend parents' permission and that they watch this episode with you if you choose to listen to it at your own discretion. Thank you. And the reason for the age restriction warning, because a lot of these topics, even though I'm talking about nonprofit organizations, the other topics that I may be talking about in this episode might be triggered or sensitive to some people. So with that said, let's get into today's episode. Oh, also, if you were triggered or sensitive to any of the topics that are going to be talked about in today's episode, I highly recommend you don't listen to today's episode. If you do choose to listen to today's episode at your own discretion, I highly recommend you seek out your emotional support system, such as your significant other, your partner, a family member, a best friend, a sister, a brother, whoever you love and trust enough to sit down with you and listen to today's episode with you and help you through the triggering and sensitive parts of today's episode. With that said, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is all about shouting out nonprofit organizations and just having a really good discussion today in today's episode. So I hope you guys will get a lot out of today's episode. And without further ado, let's get straight on into this. Nonprofit organizations means they don't make any profit off what they do. They do accept donations. They do accept help if need be. But some of them don't charge anything. They don't charge anything to do what they do. They're basically volunteers and helping families who are struggling through hard times of having a missing loved one gone missing, or just helping them out with a cold murder case as well. That sort of thing. So first one that I want to mention, and this is dedicated to the Indigenous and Native people. This organization helps out the women and children and teens, young teens who are girls. This is an organization dedicated to women and girls. They call themselves MMIW, which is Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women of the U.S. They are an organization that helps families who are going through a tough time with a missing mother or a missing daughter or a missing grandmother has gone missing due to some unfortunate circumstances, or has either been murdered or went missing. This organization is a nonprofit organization. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them through their website to learn the statistics and to be a little more educated about what they do. They're really good people. They help out Indigenous and Native people. You guys should go check them out. I highly recommend it if you want to just kind of keep up to date with them and just to better educate yourself about them. Next one I want to talk about, and I've talked about this group before I learned about the Murdered Indigenous Women of U.S. Before I knew about them, this was another nonprofit organization I knew about them before then, and I've mentioned them in my missing persons episodes, my true crime episodes. They are called Adventurers with Purpose. Their purpose is to help search and recover missing loved ones who have gone missing in their vehicles, or missing in some sort of body of water. They are a search and recovery team. They also try to not only bring closure to families and answers and help them solve missing persons cases or murder cold cases even. They try to do what they can to bring closure and answers to families. They don't always succeed, but they do give it their 100%, and they do what they can to help. And they never give up on the family. They stay in touch with them. They keep up to date with things. They've also have solved roughly around 10 cases, maybe more. They're a really good group of gentlemen. They are certified and professional divers. They are a diving team. They've been doing it for quite a long time. You guys should go check out their website, Adventures with Purpose. You should go check out their Facebook. You can also donate to them. You can buy their merch, anything that you can do to help them be able to stay on the road and to be able to help them be able to do what they do. Granted, they get money through YouTube and Facebook, but any donations and any shout outs and any sharing of videos and everything, that helps them out more than anything. So with that said, go check them out. They are a non-profit organization. They run strictly on what they make themselves out of their social media platforms and their donations. So go check them out. Also, another one that I recently learned about is another nonprofit organization that's dedicated into searching and recovering in bodies of water as well. They are called Team Water Sonar Search and Recovery Team. They also search and recover missing loved ones who have gone missing in their vehicles and have been nowhere to be found. They've also teamed up with Adventurers with the Purpose as well. Go check them out. They appreciate any donations you have because they use that donation money to help them be able to stay on the road, to keep the boat in the water that they search in, and help them out with financial needs for them to be able to do what they do. Go check out these 3 amazing, awesome non-profit organizations. Go check them out. I highly recommend it, especially the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women U.S. I highly recommend you go check them out as well. And with that said, the reason for me shouting these out is, like I said in my last episode, this is all going to be all about giving back and shouting out and using my platform to help families who are going through a tough time, getting the stories out on cold cases and even solved cases even, just telling their stories and sharing their stories and keeping it alive for them and, doing what I can to help them out as much as possible. So go check them out. I highly recommend it. And with that said, you don't find many nonprofit organizations like this. For them to have the abilities to do what they do and be as respectful and as honest with themselves and what they stand for is really awesome, especially the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women U.S., to be able to do what they do. Granted, they deal with Indigenous and Native people of the United States. They're a honest, good organization that not only helps people find answers as to what happened to their missing loved ones, they also help the family with any other things that they go through when you're filing a missing persons report, going through the ins and outs of things that you would go through if a loved one went missing or a loved one is passing. Basically, help them charter and navigate the system, basically. And it's really awesome. And as for the other two, and the hardest places to go missing and is bodies of water or and in a car, because sometimes you could go in places that people wouldn't even think to go in. Even swampy areas even are really dangerous, and people can go missing in those every day. Especially the ocean as well. The ocean is very dangerous as well. It can be very dangerous, but it can be very educating and very fun at the same time. But it's every land, every body of water, you have to be absolutely careful. And to have these people volunteer their times and their effort into helping families find their missing loved ones and chart the system, and navigate the system, I should say, and doing what they do is just, it's truly amazing and very awesome. And you don't find many of those out there very much. You don't hear much about them, and that's why I'm talking about them in today's episode, is because they deserve to be heard. They deserve to have their moment. These people take time out of their lives to help other people, to be there for other people's families, to be there to help people navigate the system, to help people find answers and closure. And not only does Adventures with Purpose do that, they also try to help to clean up the ecosystem. So if they find like an abandoned car that's old and it's been in there for a while, they don't just leave it in there. They actually come back and pull it out and get it out of the water. They don't just leave it in there. And any other little trinkets or something they find, they always get it out of there. They always find a way to help the ecosystem and the water system, waters and everything as well. And I truly think that's amazing. As tough times as it is, it's almost 2 weeks before Christmas. Families are probably going through a lot, and I can't imagine that. But I'm hoping by shouting out these organizations, if you're going through any of this type of stuff, or you're hitting a roadblock, and you've exhausted whatever resources you have, and if you're Indigenous and you don't know how to chart the system, and you're just kind of stuck in nowhere, and you have a missing grandmother or a missing daughter and you don't know where she is at, I highly recommend you go check out Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women U.S. And I highly recommend, if you are a person who has a missing loved one who's went missing around some bodies of water, like a lake or a river or something along the lines of that, go check out Adventures with a Purpose and Team Water Sonar. Go check those both out, because those amazing groups of men and women are really awesome at what they do, and especially the Missing or Murdered Indigenous U.S. Any Native nonprofit organization is really awesome, whether it has to do with missing persons or a missing woman or a missing daughter. Is truly awesome that people do things out of the kindness of their heart and not out of greed or pride or anything. And I think it's truly awesome. And like I've always said in a lot of my missing persons cases that I've talked about, or murder cases, a murder or somebody going missing happens every second of every single day, whether it's a black woman or a black man, whether it's a white man or a white woman, whether it's a Native woman or a Native man or a teenager or a child of any background, especially Native background, they go missing or they end up murdered, and it's very scary for the families to go through that, and very horrifying. And we can't possibly imagine what it's like for them to go through something like that. And I hope that any of my viewers who have never been through it, I hope you never go through it. But I hope this gives you guys some sort of light at the end of your dark tunnel, and I hope you guys get a lot out of this episode. My last episode I did before this was a missing person case, and it was about two black women. One was a 60-year-old black woman by the name of Wanda Faye Walker, and her young daughter, who was the mother of a 2-year-old son, Alicia Dana Walker. If I'm saying her name right, if I'm kabashing it, much apologies. I've never been good with names, but I hope that I did it justice. Those two women went missing. One of them went missing in November 1999, and the other one went missing October the 4th, 2019. So it's really sad to see a family not go through a missing person case once but twice, and there's thousands upon thousands of missing, murdered teenagers, missing girls, and missing women of Indigenous background, and it's very scary because they have a higher rate of their women and young girl teens and children going missing, and it's really sad. So to be able to use my platform to talk about it and to get it out there is really an honor for me, and I'm truly thankful to be able to use my platform to put all of this out there for my viewers to see, and for any of my friends who are watching this to see, and any help of you guys sharing these videos or these series that I make, where it pertains to a true crime episode, whether it be solved or unsolved, just by you sharing it and by you viewing it and interacting with it as much as you can. I truly appreciate it, and I know that by getting this word out there and by talking about these nonprofit organizations and about these missing persons cases and these murdered cases, it helps the families who are going through this. It helps them know that we're getting it out there. We're doing everything we can to get it out there to where they could someday, somehow find the closure and the peace that they deserve to have. Sometimes, sadly, it's not always the case, but we can always hope and pray that one day it becomes the case where they do find it and they do get through it. And, it's nice to be able to get this out there for you guys, and for you guys to take time out of your days to listen to this. So please go check out those organizations. Go check them out. They surely appreciate anything you can do to help them, by getting the word out, by calling certain places and people, and just by spreading the word and doing what you can do helps them out tremendously. And go follow their Facebook pages. Go check Ventures with the Purpose YouTube page and their Facebook page. Donate to them if you wish, and check out their merch so that way they can stay on the road and do what they can do with what they have. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for listening to today's episode and taking time out of listening to me talk about it and discuss them and discuss the last episode and everything. I'm going to continue to go on with the next 3 episodes. I hope you guys will stay with me through this series. I appreciate you guys for listening, and please give this video a share, and please give it a thumbs up, because that way it helps the video, it helps the channel, it helps get the word out there. And also, like I said, don't forget to go check out these non-profit organizations. Go check them out, seriously. And with that said, if you are new to my channel or happen to come across this channel and you like this sort of podcast series and this kind of content, where I do podcasts and I also do gaming on the side, please hit that red subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified as to when I upload further episodes and further videos in the future. Also, do not forget to go check me out on all of my social medias. They're listed in the description box below this video, this episode. Go check me out there. I hope you guys have an awesome evening, afternoon, day, or night, wherever you're watching this. And I will catch you guys in my next episode. Laters.